Yokoso, watashi no jugyo e. I'm Madame Sensei. I'm going to walk you through the very next Duolingo skill, and that is greetings. Eventually, when Duolingo starts introducing more kanji, I'm going to start cutting these videos down smaller because I realize they're kind of creeping up pretty long. I don't want them to be over 10 minutes a piece, but I know my last couple have been 15 minutes. So for these first skills, these will all be together. We're going to talk about any particles we come across, any kanji we come across, grammar for the skill, sentences, and then we'll talk about culture at the same time. But eventually I'll be making separate, smaller videos for all of those. We are now on greetings. We're booking along right here. All right, so in the tips, Duolingo talks about how to say thank you, and we need to talk about this because it's not exactly cut and dried. The first thing Duolingo says is that domo is thanks. Yes, usually, sometimes. We'll talk about that in a couple minutes, okay? Arigato, you've probably heard that a million times. Domo arigato, you're just putting them together. Arigato gozaimasu. Gozaimasu is a politeness marker. It's just, you're going to put this on the end whenever you want to be polite to someone. Domo arigato gozaimasu. We still have that gozaimasu right here. We just added the domo in the front. And then past tense, we'll get to all the past tenses and how easy it is to put a verb into past tense. But for right now, all you need to know is it sounds an awful lot like gozaimasu. It's gozaimashita. Arigato gozaimashita. Domo arigato gozaimashita. Don't stress about these right now. So, very first sentence I want to show you. Domo sumimasen. Domo. That does not mean thank you there, okay? It's just kind of like it's just kind of an extra word like and stuff and you know and that kind of thing. Putting it in there just makes the sentence sound a little more complete. You've added a word to the sentence, so it's a little bit longer than it used to be. Domo sumimasen. Sumimasen. I just wanted to show you here. You can write oh, that's okay. Now, a lot of times, and I think in my Tokyo accent, kind of, we say this so fast, it's almost sumimasen instead of sumimasen. And so sometimes you'll see it in print as sumimasen. Arigato. Again, we've got an and I wrote oh, just out of habit. But that's fine. Now, domo arigato gozaimasu. Thank you very much, right? Domo arigato is also thank you very much. Okay? The only thing that gozaimasu does is it gives you that extra level of politeness. Japanese is a hierarchical language. You have to be polite to some people and you could be casual with other people. If you mix it up, you're accidentally overly polite to your friends or family members. It's like you're slapping them in the face. Oh, sure, Your Majesty. And if you're not polite enough with people that you should be polite to, it's like you're slapping them in the face. So it's very, very important to think about that hierarchy. Dewa, sayonara. Now, you remember how back here, let me flip back a couple pages. I said sometimes we say sumimasen really fast and it's almost suimasen. Same thing can happen here. If you say dewa really fast, it might turn into ja. I have the perfect story to illustrate how and why this will happen. Many years ago, when I was back in the United States and I was at a university, I was asked to give a tour of the campus to some foreign exchange students. And I was with a colleague who was helping me give the tour. And we've been walking around for a while. And my colleague looks at the students and says, "Yangri? Jeet yet?" And they had just this blank look on their face. And I just cracked up, said it in Japanese to them so they would understand. But I was like, I turned to him and I said, this is going in every single speech I give about why dewa is going to turn into ja. He said, "Jeet yet?" did you eat? The D sound, and here we're getting ready to say dewa. If we say it really fast, eventually it'll turn into ja. So you can say ja anytime you want to say dewa. It will happen, and you'll hear it so often. Here we go, right here. Konbanwa, konbanwa, good evening. Ja they extended the just to be kind of cutesy. Ja it's like, well then. I mean, literally, this is well then. So you say, like, see you later, well, that kind of thing. So this is really dewa ne, or you can even write it ja ne. That's fine. They extended the and that's completely okay. In Japanese, what you see is what you get. So, I used to be a translator, and if I was working on a script where someone was speaking in an accent, it was all written out in the accent they wanted the actor to speak in. All right. The next thing Duolingo is going to kind of pound into you, and I would like to take issue with it, is they teach you the word doitashimashite. Doitashimashite technically means you're welcome. Literally, how else should I have done it? But in actual practice, this is a little rude to say. It's like, well, yeah, you better be thanking me. So instead of doing that, please just say ie, nah. That thing. There will be a lot of languages that this happens to. I also teach French, and in French, they don't ever say you're welcome. They say it's nothing, okay? So this is the same thing. This is nah. Just go ie. Please don't say doitashimashite unless you've really gone out of your way and you need to pound it into them. Yeah, I did do something nice for you. Oyasumi nasai is your basic good night, go to bed type of thing. Oh, we got our honorific O here. That's what I should point out to you. Our honorific O right in front. Oyasumi nasai. Dewa, oyasumi nasai. You could also do ja, oyasumi nasai. And again, the ohayou gozaimasu. Gozaimasu, just a politeness marker. That's all it is. Here, sensei, ohayou gozaimasu. You're going to add the gozaimasu when you're talking to your teacher. Got to be polite to your teacher. Sensei, konnichiwa. Now, konnichiwa is just half of a phrase. It's literally speaking of this day, and so the politeness marker is left off with the whole rest of the sentence. All right, let's talk about this one. Onegai shimasu. Onegai shimasu. Now, you might have heard the word kudasai. Kudasai also means please, but kudasai is going to be used in conjunction with a verb, or if you're asking for a specific item. You can say, are o kudasai, or something like that. Hashi o kudasai, please give me chopsticks, or something. Onegai shimasu is kind of more like a, please do this for me. And you might remember it. My screen got resized. Hajimemashite. Hajimemashite. Literally, it begins. Yoroshiku onegai shimasu. Yoroshiku, well, please do it for me. So this is like a nice to meet you. Please treat me well. It begins our friendship. Please treat me well. Yoroshiku onegai shimasu. But by itself, onegai shimasu is just like a please do this for me. Dozo, go ahead. I wrote go ahead. Duolingo wanted here you are. That's fine. So we can actually put those together. Hajimemashite, dozo yoroshiku onegai shimasu. And here the very next sentence was dozo yoroshiku. Literally, go ahead, well, because it means like, go ahead and please treat me well. That's the very, very literal. You can say the whole thing together. Hajimemashite, dozo yoroshiku onegai shimasu. You can say dozo yoroshiku. You can say yoroshiku onegai shimasu. You can also say yoroshiku if you're in a really casual setting. Kochira koso. Kochira koso. Kochira literally means this side or this way. And koso is a particle That means you're just emphasizing it, okay? It's like I wrote me too. And Duolingo said, yeah, you can also do likewise. Sure, that's fine. Now look what happened here. こちらこそありがとうございます. I wrote initially, thanks from me as well, because remember, こちら means this side. Duolingo didn't like that. That's okay, because I hit the report button right down here. I cut it off. There's a report button. And so people like me are constantly adding new sentences all the time. So Duolingo wanted this, thank you to you as well. But just know that こちら, because we're going to talk about こちら, そちら, あちら coming up. ここ、そこ、あそこ. All those これ、それ、あれ, all those I'm going to put together in your brain so you remember them easier. Just know that こちら is technically this way or this side. よろしく, very casual. よろしく. So that's that. Please treat me well. Just chopped up. So we can just say nice to meet you. こちらこそ. Me too. All right. So now you got a couple more words you can play with in your sentence frames, okay? You now know watashi, you know sensei. Here's the kanji, and we'll be talking about the kanji in the next episode, I believe. No, 2 episodes from now we'll talk about the kanji. And I'll give you the whole derivation for that. So, sensei wa neko ga hoshii desu. Sensei wa neko ga hoshii desu. Sensei wa neko ga suki desu. Just try putting these in here, see what you come up with. Play around with it. Don't worry so much if you come up with watashi wa sensei ga hoshii desu. Sure, whatever. You're just playing with the sentence structure. Don't worry about the grammar right now. Just get used to plugging things in, okay? All right, see you in our next episode, which will be katakana.